Let's just continue a little longer with the debate we were discussing in the last hour, though. The new poll that has estimated there are now 500,000 vegans, at least in England, Scotland and Wales. That's an increase of 350% in 10 years. So why are more people going vegan? Are you one of them? 0345 301 1034. Chris is in Torquay. Hello, Chris.
Hello, how you doing?
You're a vegan. How long?
I've been vegan for a year and a half, and prior to that I was vegetarian for 15 years. So
15 years of... okay, so quite a... Why did you make the change now after 15 years of being a vegetarian?
Well, strangely, it was just a lack of kind of education, really. I mean, obviously I knew the animal agriculture industry was bad, with the killing of the animals and everything, but I never really understood the dairy side of things, and it was when the dairy side clicked. You're violating an animal's reproductive system for milk and cheese. I had to make that move. It's completely unethical, and it's for a product that we don't even need in our diet to survive. And I think that's one of the main things people need to consider.
Violating an animal's reproductive system. That's fairly strong stuff. What do you mean by that exactly?
Well, if you think about, where dairy comes from, to get milk from a cow must be pregnant. So these animals are forced into pregnancy, and then their calf is taken away from them so we can take their milk. It's a complete violation. Milk is for baby cows. It's not for humans. We don't even consume our own mother's breast milk past, a certain time. So why are we taking the milk of another species? This is... baby cow growth formula is what milk is. It's full of all the hormones and all the nutrients to make a baby cow into a big cow. It's not meant for humans in any way or form, and it's something we shouldn't really be having in our diet.
We've heard a lot of people say, though, Chris, on the programme today, that plants feel pain, and there are studies around that seem to bolster that opinion to show that even though they don't have a brain or a nervous system, there is some kind of distress and energy going on in a plant when it is ripped out of the ground. Is that something you ever think about?
Well, the good thing is veganism actually saves plants, strangely. For a start, can you really compare a blade of grass to a cow? Not really. But the thing is, people don't realise that 40% of the world's grain is actually getting fed to the animals that people are eating. So if we eliminated the animals we are eating, we're actually saving 40% of the world's grain. There's going to 60 billion land animals. If we ate the plants direct, we're not even going to need that amount of food. So really, if someone really genuinely cares about plants, should probably go vegan.
Chris, there's also been an article today in the Daily Telegraph about this, and there's a woman called Catherine Collins from the British Dietitians Association who says that this dramatic rise in the number of people choosing not to eat meat is largely based on fashion. She's blaming Instagram and Hollywood stars like Gwyneth Paltrow. Is this something that has come across your radar at all, or has influenced you in any way?
Yeah, of course, by big celebrities going vegan, it's always going to become trendy or anything like that. Personally, I don't mind what route people want to go to stop eating animal products. As long as they stop eating them, that's fine with me. I think it's a good way to get people kind of thinking. Once they get onto a kind of plant-based diet, then they start learning about the ethics and the environmental impact and the impact that it has on our health. And I think from there, it kind of just strengthens the message, and they can see that what they're doing is helping in a big way in many, many aspects. So, it is a bit of a trend, but I think with people educating people and letting people know the real reasons why they should be doing this, I think, ultimately it should benefit.
And another issue that one of our previous callers raised, Chris, was this issue about live and let live, do whatever you want, but don't try and convince other people. Is that something that you subscribe to, or do you find it hard to not try and convince friends and people you meet about what they're doing? Or conversely, do you get annoyed that people are trying to convince you?
Well, I think what people need to realise is people say that vegans are pushy and we're pushing our lifestyle on other people, but surely people are pushing their lifestyle onto animals by taking their lives for something they don't need. I think, as I said, things that people don't need. If we actually look at a human diet, we do not need animal products in any way to survive. We can get every single vitamin, mineral, everything we need from plants. So what is our real justification for for eating them. Really, the only justification is that they taste nice. Just because we've been doing something for many, many years, that doesn't justify that it's right. I mean, we used to keep slaves. That obviously wasn't right. Women didn't have rights. That wasn't right.
And how pushy about this would you be in a group, say, sitting around at a restaurant of mixed meat and meat eaters and vegetarians and vegans?
Well, the thing is, I would never just go out of my way to, attack anyone, because I don't think that's really the right thing to do. I think the problem with humans these days is we've got a cognitive dissonance, or we've got this disconnect where we love animals, but at the same time we eat them. We don't see the meat on our plate as a living, it used to be a living, breathing animal. And I think we can't blame people for that, because it's just something that's just been integrated into human society and become normal. So the best way to do it is not to go out and outright attack people and say, what you're doing is wrong. It's just to kind of educate them and say, this is where this food comes from. This is the harm that it's causing. This is, the environmental impact this is having. And maybe the better choice is not to eat it. I think if you do it in that way, and you do it in an educational way, not in a condescending, looking down on people way, I think people will open up and actually listen to you. And I've had a good success talking to many of my friends about it who have all turned vegan or trying to do it with vegetarian. So yeah, it's just not about attacking people. It's all about educating.
Chris, thanks for joining us this lunchtime. Let's see what other people have got to say about that. That's Chris in Torquay. He's gone vegan in the last year and a half, vegetarian for a number of years before that. 0345 301 1034 if you want to tell us your story.